Welcome to Clocked Out, a show for watch enthusiasts where we discuss the personal stories behind timepieces and reveal the significance they had to the wearer. And today I am joined by my friend Tim. Tim, welcome to the show.
Tom,
thanks
a lot.
Thank you for coming out. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know a little bit. I was introduced as Tim, but I know that's not quite the full story.
No, the actual name is Timur. So it's Timur.
Yeah.
That's a very common name in our region, which is Kyrgyzstan, which we used to be a part of Soviet Union.
Yeah.
That's why I speak Russian and you can hear my Russian accent. So it's Timur. That means steel.
Yeah, well, and I understand that we have some Russian-ish pieces here, and I know that the history of those two cultures definitely overlap a good bit. But again, Tim, like some other people on this show, has been a client of the studio in the past, and again, I just want to appreciate you for coming out today. But take us a little bit back. I think I saw a story once on your feed, and you had one of these Santos on, and I was like, Tim's got to be a watch guy, or maybe it was when you came in. I saw something, but. What was the first memory of watches for you?
Tom, to be honest, I have a very interesting story for you because I didn't consider myself as a watch guy up until maybe 6 to 7 months ago. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So basically before, when I saw all those, shiny Rolexes, shiny Cartier watches, I was like, that's kind of silly or stupid to spend so much money on a piece. And I was always wearing my Apple Watch, like any tech guy. I was wearing some smart watches. Up until I guess it was like seven months ago when I bought my first luxury watch, which was Cartier. When I bought it, I started seeing that people started recognizing. They were like, "Oh, you have this watch. Oh, you like watches," and people started appreciating. And I was like, "Huh." Just the same as the car, people actually look at your wrist because I'm not interested. I wasn't interested. Kind of whatever, I don't care what you wear. But then I saw that people started recognizing, and it's like a icebreaker. People come and start talking to you about the watch. Oh, nice watch or something. And I was like, okay, that's something smart. And then I started looking into watches. Still, I'm not. I'm the guy who I don't think I'm gonna spend a lot of money or time into buying luxury watches. But then I do appreciate the nice brand or a history behind the brand, or
Sure.
a history behind a specific watch. So now I'm in, and now my wife is actually making fun of me. She was like, "Well, you always made jokes about those guys who are into watches, and now you're one of them." And now I see why. Now I see why you're one of them as well. And it's cool. It's interesting.
It's an interesting subculture, and honestly, my story. I came in when I was like a kid, but I was only into like affordable watches as a kid, and it was just a cool thing to have on your wrist. And I don't feel like I loved watches for the true history and what it meant. But as you said, it's been pointed out by other guests, and I think a lot of people that are in this hobby recognize the. That when you're seen wearing one of these, it is an icebreaker. It's a status symbol is not even so much as a credibility piece. And you're an entrepreneur. You own multiple businesses, and having a nice watch on your wrist is almost a rite of passage. It's such a great thing to get into, and I think we've both somewhat recently maybe gotten back into it. But we had talked a little bit off screen that you don't enjoy, like many of us don't, the culture around buying certain watches, and Cartier was a brand that you liked the idea that you could go in and grab with. So tell us the story about how you ended up acquiring this. Did you go to an AD?
Actually, yeah, it was in I think it was in Florida, and it was spontaneous. It was like I want to buy a watch, and my two experiences going to Rolex dealer AD didn't end up well. I didn't like it. I didn't like how I was treated there, and I just didn't like the brand. And for me, there's too much hype. No disrespect to Rolex itself. It's a beautiful watch. But then I went and did some research online, and I was like, what's out there that is actually maybe the same price point, but something more interesting that a lot of people don't understand, or only people who actually knows about watches will appreciate. So I started looking into it, and I really like the Cartier brand overall because it's a very nice brand. It's a royal brand, and they have a huge history. But then the reason why Santos is, as far as I know, that's the first ever men's watch that it was made. So basically, I'm pretty sure you know the story, but then back in the days, the watch, just a regular watch was only for women. It was like accessory. And men used to carry the pocket watch. Yeah. And then the guy Santos came out and he said, "Hey, I'm a pilot and I need something here so I can wear it, so it's easier for me to actually measure time." And that's the story behind it. And I was like, okay, this is cool. It has history. It's a very good brand. The price point is right, and they look cool and they look kind of classy. So that's when I started looking into this brand as a watch.
Well, and they're so iconic. I mean, there's many brands. I think Rolex is one of them where you can see it from across the room usually, and you can have a good guess that that's a Rolex. And Cartier is the exact same way, that they have very signature looks to the majority of their watches, and they're very unique in their own space. So I think that's a class option and an absolute go-to for many people, as we were talking off screen. Something that I'm maybe considering adding to the thing too. But I see that we have a second one here too. And so this is a smaller reference, and also two-tone, or at least a gold bezel here. So what was the story about this? Was this purchased similar time, or what was the push for getting a second one that is a similar-ish spec?
It's a similar spec, but then since this being everyday wear, and sometimes when you go for a nice dinner or something, I want to have something nicer with like gold and everything, gold bezel and gold bolts over there. And since this one is it's a little bulkier when you wear it with a shirt, or with a suit, so I decided to go with a smaller one. I still appreciate the design. I still appreciate the overall looks of it. So I was like, hey, for me, it's not to show off, but then how I feel about wearing them. Since I do like the bigger ones, I decided to go with the gold version of it, just to wear it for nicer places.
When Tim was telling me about the watches he was going to be bringing today, he said that he had 2 smartwatches, and I said, hey, we'll let you get one in here. But you made it sound like you had a little bit more of an interesting story or a reasoning behind your interest in a smartwatch. Obviously, Apple Watches are very popular, but it sounded like you had something different with it. So, what did you like about the? This is an Ultra, right?
Yeah. It's Ultra 2, and the only reason why I bought it, to be honest, is just to get away from my smartphone.
I got 2 phones.
This is the reason why it has a separate number on it. It is LTE, 5G, whatever.
Wow, interesting.
So basically, when I am tired of using my phone, which I am almost every day, I am just leaving my phone in my office or in at my house, and then when I go shopping or do whatever, I have this phone, I have this watch on me. So it's more of a second device, and I want to be reachable because I still I have 4 kids, I have a family, I have business,
of course.
And there's certain people know this phone number, and they can reach me when I leave my phone at home. So that's the only reason why I bought this,
Okay.
And well, obviously the battery. Before, all of the Apple Watches, they used to suck, it's only 1 day battery. This one is holding, with my usage, 2 or 3 days, which is great.
Really nice. Okay. Well, and I know that a lot of people that are interested in the Apple Watch scene a little bit more are ones that use it for sports, outdoor activities, tracking sleep, things of that nature. Obviously, there's a lot of technology that is packed into these that isn't packed into your standard mechanical watch. Do you use any of those other features, or is it purely just a way to like have a phone on, or have the ability to be accessed without needing to have your phone physically there?
For my activity and everything, I use Whoop Band. I have it right there. That is the best one. I used to have Oura Ring, but then the Whoop Band is way more convenient, I would say. So yeah, I don't use any features for sport, and I'm not into sports that much. But as a sleep tracker, yes, Whoop Band, the best
Gotcha.
one.
Let's dive into one of these. We have 2 very unique, probably the first time many of people will be seeing this, and I know this was one of the reasons that we were pushing back this booking date, because we were waiting on a very special one. So let's maybe save that one to the very end, and let's start with this one here.
These 2 came from my home country, Kyrgyzstan, and we have a couple of nice thrift shops, and they are the ones who are selling antique stuff. When my mom actually found them, and she was like, she sent me like 50 photos of different watches, and I was like, let's go with this too.
Interesting.
So she was the one who found it and made sure that they look nice. So basically, this one I don't know. Well, maybe on B-roll you'll see the writing on it. So this is a Ukrainian government watch, and as far as I know, is a border guard, or as we say, customs. I would say here in the U.S. And they. So what I really liked it is, first of all, they look really nice. It's I can wear it almost every day with my shirts and everything. And what I specifically like about it is the you see this little logo on top of it. So basically, that is a symbol of a freedom in Ukraine. Basically, they mix a couple of different symbols, and having it right there when I look at it, it kind of gives me some it looks cool. And a lot of people who are from Ukraine, they will look at it and say, hey, like I can see that you're wearing our symbol of freedom on your watch. And this I mean, they looked really nice. The quality was very nice. They had some history behind the idea, behind the watch itself, because it's government watch of Ukraine, and us knowing what's going on with Ukraine right now. Plus, Chicago, it's a biggest Ukrainian community in the U.S. It's situated here in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah,
okay, I did not know that. That's, I guess we have Ukrainian Village.
Yeah,
but,
that's a reason.
Okay.
So, and I have tons of Ukrainian friends and employees. So I guess that kind of pushed me to go and purchase that watch. And actually, for the past week since those two came, I'm wearing this every single day.
Well, and I love that, and I think that watches are a great thing of. You don't need to. I don't know what the way that you prop this up sounds like you found it at a thrift shop or a gift store or something like that. So probably not the most expensive watch on the table, but has incredible meaning to you, which I think is obviously the most important thing. So it's in a gold case. I'm gonna guess it's either a gold plated case or something like that. Okay, gotcha. But it looks like automatic movement in there. Obviously, I see tick, 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 tick.
Yep.
And so and then you said that your mother actually was the one that purchased this or found it or something like that. So your family's still in Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah. So my mom is still there. She comes and visits, but mostly she's there. And then she was like, hey, what do you want, like as a present, what do you want this time? Because every couple of months we send presents to each other, whether it's from here or from there. And I was like, well, I want something unique. She was like what? I told her that I'm into watches now, and if you can please go to like a antique store or a thrift shop and find something interesting, I would be happy. So she went there to, I think she went to 3 or 4 of them. And as I said, we found 2 watches out of like 50 out there in a decent shape. And I guess now she knows what to send me every couple of months, because now I want to have a bigger collection of unique watches, no matter how much they're going to cost, little or a big amount of money. But as long as there is a history behind it,
Yeah, well, and obviously a passion on your end towards what it means. And again, I think that this watch in particular represents more than just a cool watch for you, right? So in between here, so, I picked up this Longine, and it is so paper thin that I feel like it could get just taken by a gust of wind here. But tell us the story about this one. So,
Longine. First of all, I always pronounce it like Longines.
Yes.
I always say Longines.
Maybe that's correct. We'll get
no, it's
corrected
Longine actually.
Okay.
I started doing some research, and Mr. Wonderful, from Shark Tank,
of course,
he was the one who actually convinced me to look into Longines. With moon phase watches. That's I'm into moon watches or moon phase watch, whatever they call. I'm very into them now. But he was the one who introduced me to this brand. I started looking into it, and I found this little guy here, which I typically wear only with tuxedo or something like very, very sleek. Us going and having different parties now where we have to look nice or something. This actually looks very nice, and the good part is it's not bulky. You can actually go under the sleeve,
fit under your cuff.
Under your cuff. So they actually look very nice, and I think I'm into the Greek numbers, Greek dials, because the Cartier is the same,
That is,
it looks really nice.
That's very, I guess that is the signature thing, the Greek numerals and stuff. And I wonder if it's on this thing, but fun little fact. So, out of a legibility standpoint, that watchmakers just kind of generally adopted that a watchmaker's 4 will just do 4 lines opposed to, So
I see what you're saying now. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, you are absolutely right, because typically is 1 and V. That's
Exactly.
4, and then it's 5, which is V,
Correct.
and then
Yeah,
wow,
but
that's
from
something new to me.
yeah, but so I guess again, and it seems like just a unanimous, like I think just about every brand that does Roman numerals, yeah, they just call it a watchmaker's 4, which is
Interesting.
an interesting thing. But so this watch is extremely thin, so it's got to be quartz moving. I can see the hand doing the little tick there, but ultra thin, and right on the heels of we were talking about Watches and Wonders, where what brand was it? Bulgari. Bulgari. It came out with a very thin watch. I feel like that is something that we're going to see as just like a trend. So it's a good thing that you were able to pick this up. Do you know roughly the time of this, as far as when this reference came out? Where'd you get this watch?
I think it was online,
Okay.
and I believe it was like as far as I understood, it was like 2020.
Okay, so
it's
newer.
it's a
Okay,
newer watch,
gotcha. Because I felt like initially when I picked it up, one, you could almost tell by the I guess it is like tuxedo. Was this the strap that it came on?
No.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I was like, because this is such a high polished strap. Like it's tough to. It had old school vibes, but I guess like you said, from a tuxedo standpoint, that makes sense.
The new one, the Bulgari. I mean, how much was it? It's like almost $100,000 watch or something.
It's incredible. Yeah. Again, we do, as we were saying, I don't even look at watches that I think I'll just never ever be able to afford, and probably wouldn't be my immediate choice. But what a cool looking watch, and such a for those that know will know, and that'll definitely be something of interest here. So okay. So as we're building out this sort of collection, I mean, do you have any sort of I mean, it sounds like something that just needs to have impact for you, but is there anything that you've picked up in these couple of months where it's like, I guess aside from Roman numerals, I like this, I don't like this? I mean, do you have a philosophy? I know a lot of watch collectors have some sort of method to their madness, but are you just kind of acquiring things that, hey, I like this, yeah, I'll buy it? Or most people mark it with some sort of milestone. I know we talked too that, and again, some of these had that, but were any of these purchased as a milestone piece or anything?
Not this ones, but I'm looking at little history here as well. Joe Rogan, he was the one who gifted, I believe, to
Lex Friedman.
Yeah, he gave him his Omega moon watch.
Yeah.
Take this. That's yours now. That's an Omega, and that has a moon phase. You see
Really?
that moon in the bottom
I can
of it?
keep this?
That's yours. That's yours. You see the moon on the bottom of it? Do you see that?
This is a happy man right now.
That's my watch. That's my favorite watch, by the way.
And then that actually hit me, and I was like, I started looking into it. It's a very nice watch, but I guess I'm Omega for me. It's a very nice watch, but then that's not my favorite brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking into options. And on YouTube, there are like 10, 15 different videos where they are talking only about moon watches and different moon phases and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So now my next goal are those either Longines, the one that I showed you, or something similar.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my milestone. Not in terms of the price, but then I really like everything that is around moon. My wife's name starts with word I in our AI. So basically in our language that's moon. So everything I'm passionate about moon. Last time when we had the eclipse, literally like a week ago, I was so excited, and it kind of excites me. So my next watch will be something about with moon, with moon phase or something.
Phase, yeah, which
even I think even Apple Watch right here, it has the moon phase right now.
that's believable.
Interesting. It came over something. Maybe it restarted. But anyways, that's gonna be my milestone, because that's milestone of my interest, I would say. And if your viewers have some ideas, or
have
some
a good recommendation.
Yeah, some recommendation. I'm open to it. I guess the budget will be up to 20K, but then as long as it's something interesting. Cartier actually has the round watch, with the moon, but then it's extremely hard to find.
Gotcha. Well, and it's funny to hear you. The second I think anyone that's listening hears moon and watch, you assume of moon watch, and you think of Omega and such. And so for aeronautical history, Omega is very popular. But hey, you feel the way you do about Omega and stuff like that, and I respect not wanting to go with what would typically be the normal choice. And I think from our discussion today, I've been able to pick that up from you, that it's like you don't really want to conform to what everybody else does, or not that Omega is as prestigious as Rolex with the, you know, you can go in and probably buy an Omega all the same, but I think that you almost like supporting the underdogs or stuff that's a little bit more off the beaten path is what I've picked 100%.
Up. I found a couple of brands online, extremely cool brands. They're like German brands. Some of them were from France, and I was like, you know what? I want to have something that is unique. I want to have an icebreaker, I would say, you know, for people are coming and saying, oh, cool watch, what is this? And I want to tell a little story behind it. And just, you know, I don't want to go and show off like, hey, I have this, you know, $50,000 watch on my wrist. The point is to feel good about myself, you know, that I know what a piece, you know, what a piece stands for. And yeah, as I said, if anyone has some recommendations on a moon watch, that's going to be great. Except Omega, I guess, because I know everything about Omega now.
I was about to say, yeah, everyone's going to hit you with the Omega recommendations. But okay, so we have one more watch on the table today. And so again, it sounds like I know a little bit of the history of this, but again, such a interesting thing, and you're not going to walk into somebody else with this on the street. So what was it that spoke to you about this piece?
My grandfather and most of my family from father's side, they were into law enforcement or military, and they always used to wear this watches. I will say it in Russian. A lot of people will understand. Komandirskie. Komandirskie means well, basically captain's watch. So those watches were specifically made for captains in you know, in army or in you know, law enforcement, in militia or something. And this is one of them. There are many other options out there. The ones like a GMT, you know, with the dial and everything. But sure. This ones, I guess, are for higher rank, because it's like, you know, it's a nice dress watch.
Yeah.
And that was the story behind it. I was like, well, now having this culture in my blood, you know, I want to have some nice piece that my parents or my relatives used to wear back in the days. So that was the idea behind those. And I'm still, I think I'm gonna have a separate collection of those captain's watches, because they have so many different. Yeah, so different. There's like Navy ones. There's as I said, Army and etc. So I guess I'm gonna have a separate collection of those.
Well, and I think that's actually, you know, I have no military background at all, but one of the watches that I was telling you about that I have is a Marathon, which is known for having contracts with the U.S. Army, I want to say, and maybe Canada or something like that. But I love military spec watches. For some reason, just the straight, no kind of bullshit field watch aspect of it is such a cool thing to me. And so, yeah, as far as a military watch, there's a big, massive, you know, ship on this and a bunch of other things. And then I'm not going to be able to read it, but do you know what it says on the back?
Let me see. So basically, it says it's waterproof, and it says Russia.
Okay.
Not a lot of fans here, but I mean, it is what it is. It has the Russian kind of flag on the back, but also in the front it says, well, as I said, it's captains, and I believe this is Navy. Mm-hmm. It says made in Russia all the way in the bottom. So gotcha. It's a nice looking watch, you know. It's obviously it was beaten up a little bit because this being from antique store, but I mean, it's working. It was fixed and everything. There's a new strap, and I believe that I'm gonna have another collection just of USSR made watches, just because of my history, you know, just because of my from where I'm coming from.
So you said that there's a family history with things, and I know that a lot of people get into watches from a family standpoint. You said your father or your uncles or something like that were in the military. Was there any chance that a piece of theirs, are they into watches? Do you think that you'll be receiving anything one day?
You know, as much as I regret it, I didn't. Well, my father passed away a long time ago, but then I regret that I never respected, you know, the timepieces or back in the days. Otherwise, I would kind of keep it, you know, and give it and pass it to generations. I guess I was young myself, but now, I mean, it's never too late. Now I want to start my own collection that I can pass to my kids, and they can pass to their kids, because it's not. I'm very emotional when it comes to time, because I guess that's the only thing that we cannot buy. We can buy almost anything, you know. You can buy watches, whatever you want. But then there's only one piece that you can never buy. One thing is time. And now, since I'm respecting time more and more, it comes together. Now I'm respecting watches more and more. It's the respect to time itself. It's respect on how your time is being tracked, I guess. And that's where my new passion comes in terms of timepieces, watches, and clocks. I mean, this piece is beautiful. It kind of reminds me, hey, your clock is ticking. Get moving or something. So get going. So yeah, I guess I will start my collection now.
On the topic of respecting time, I want to appreciate you for giving me your time. I know as a business owner, it sounds like you have family in town here too, which I really appreciate you bringing these watches out, allowing people to see them. I'm looking forward to seeing what moon phase or moon complication watch you come up with in the future here.
Awesome, Tom. Thanks a lot.